Today, we're digging into the powerful and often invisible force that makes a good school truly great. It's leadership.
You know, we all have a feeling for what a great school is like. But what's the real secret ingredient? Is it just the teachers, the money, the curriculum?
Well, it turns out the answer might be something we don't always pay enough attention to.
Okay, get ready for this number, a full 25%. Research by Vivian Robinson found that a quarter of a school's total impact on how well students learn comes directly from its leadership. That is a massive piece of the pie, second only to what teachers do in the classroom. This is way beyond just managing a building. This is about shaping the future.
So in this explainer, we're going to break down this powerful idea. We'll start by looking beyond the classic idea of the principal's office. Then we'll define what pedagogical leadership actually is, check out a leader's core jobs, see how they turn big ideas into action with an annual plan, and finally, we'll see how it all comes back to helping students learn and thrive.
First things first, we need to talk about a huge shift in how we think about the role of a school leader. And this slide really nails the difference. The old way, that was the principal as an administrator. Keeping the lights on, managing the budget, making sure the building didn't fall down. But the new way, it requires a pedagogical leader, someone whose main job is to lead the learning itself and focus on empowering everyone, from teachers to students.
So that brings us to the big question. What in the world is pedagogical leadership? What are we actually talking about here?
Here's the core definition from the source material. And the key word here is practice. This isn't about some title or sitting behind a desk. It's about being actively, deeply involved in the day-to-day of teaching and learning, all to build a culture where everyone in the school is constantly getting better.
And here's where it all has to start. Great leadership isn't about looking outward first. It's about looking inward. It kicks off with some serious self-awareness.
You see, this journey isn't a one-time thing. It's this continuous loop. A leader has to really know themselves, check their own work against the school's big goals, and, this is huge, actively ask for feedback from everyone. Then they use all of that to build a plan to get better. It just goes round and round.
Okay, so let's move on. How does this self-aware leader actually go about influencing an entire school?
These are the fundamentals. We're talking about influencing, not just ordering people around. It's about empowering your team by building real trust and making them feel like they matter. A great pedagogical leader gets everyone rowing in the same direction with a shared vision and makes sure every single decision is anchored to strong, positive values.
Now here's how we used to think about it. The leader influences the teachers, and then the teachers influence the students. A simple straight line. Makes sense, right?
But, well, it turns out that's only half the picture. This is what's called the reciprocal effect, and it is a game changer. In a really fantastic school, the learning and feedback from students actually flows backwards, all the way to the top. So, for instance, if student data shows that kids are really struggling with a certain science concept, that information doesn't just stop at the teacher. It goes back to the leadership, and it forces them to ask tough questions. Hey, do our teachers need better training here? Do we need different equipment? The student's own performance literally changes the leader's strategy.
So how does the leader take all of this, the vision, the feedback, and turn it into a real-world strategy? That brings us to our next part, the annual pedagogical plan. This thing is basically the engine of school improvement. And what makes it so powerful is how it forces a school to go from vague ideas to concrete steps. It starts with an honest look in the mirror. Where are we right now? And ends with a super clear picture of what success is actually going to look like.
And this isn't just theory. Here's what it looks like written down. This template shows exactly how those 5 questions become a real action plan. For every single goal, it lays out the how, the who, the when, and maybe most importantly, how you'll know if you've actually succeeded. It turns the vision into a practical roadmap.
Okay, let's wrap this all up and bring it back to the bottom line, creating a school where everyone can thrive.
You see, the ultimate goal here isn't just about boosting test scores. It's about creating a rich, whole-person school culture, a place that's buzzing with ideas, that's socially balanced, and that's emotionally sensitive. It's about building an environment where every single kid is set up to become a learner for life. So what are the big things to take away from all this? First, leadership is the X factor. After teachers, it's the biggest school-based thing that affects student success. Second, it's a dialogue, not a monologue. The best leaders listen to students and let their results shape the school's path. And third, greatness is by design.
Awesome schools aren't accidents. They're built on purpose, through constant planning and reflection.
And that leaves us with one final thought. Take a look at the schools in your own community. How is the leadership there shaping the culture of learning? It's that unseen engine. And now, you know exactly how to look for it.